Hey guys, welcome back to the second part. And today we'll be building the backend of the application that we were continuing from yesterday. It's going to be very fun because the theory part is over. We are just going to do a lot of code today, and it's going to be about writing the logic behind the database and how the backend is going to communicate with the front end. If we get time, we can start with the front end integration today as well. Otherwise, we'll do it tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, and this is my second live stream, and I'm just going to build an application right now, and this is the part 2. If you want to watch the part 1, it's just a 1 hour live stream. I don't know if you would want to watch that, but still, if you would want to watch that, you can watch that on our channel Technic Race. So let's get started. Let's see what we did yesterday, and we'll continue from there. Okay, so let me first change my settings. Yes. All right. So let's see. Yes, what we had yesterday was we'll open up the code base, and I'll also open up the drawings that we did yesterday. So here is the code, and I'll also open the Jamboard. Yes, this is basically what we came up with. This is the $1 million idea, $1 million design. Pretty cool. And we have completed the database modeling, and today we'll be doing the controllers. Controllers is nothing, it's just it's basically a concept about how you are going to communicate, how the functions are going to communicate with the database. So that's what controllers is. It's not an actual thing, it's just a concept that's given to. So basically there is this MVP model, model view presenter. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same thing that I'm talking about, but in this you can see that this model is what we have done yesterday. Sorry, this model is what we have done yesterday, and presenter is basically the controller part that we are going to work on. So what presenter does is it acts as the link between the front end. Front end is basically view in this, so between the front end and the back end. So this is what presenter is going to do. Our presenter is GraphQL, and let's get back to that. Okay, here is the code. It's going to be a bit complicated in the start to align everything together. So let's see. Let's start with note, okay, and I'll go to the model and I'll see, okay, I have the type note. Let's list out what all controllers will need. Controllers needed. Okay. These are basically queries and mutations. Queries means getting something, mutation means editing something in the database. It's simple terms. It's just to sound fancy. Anyways, here we have for note. Let's see what all things we need to do. First of all, what we need to do is get all the nodes, right? So that we can list what all nodes are based on the wall that will be of type string. So if I give the ID of a wall and I say, okay, I want all the nodes of this wall, then I should be able to get the nodes of that wall. But let's see, what else do we need? We need add node, same with a wall ID. This will be string, and content, then that would be string, and to, like, who is it meant to. These things will be there when we are adding a node. And what else? We need to delete a node. Yeah, let's do that. Node ID, type string. we just need the ID of the node, and we'll delete that. We won't allow editing a node. This is pretty much it that we need for node. Another type we have is wall. So this is wall. Let's see, get walls. It's a simple function which is going to give us all the walls, and that's it. Once we have a wall, we can get the nodes based upon the wall ID, and this pretty much seems okay. And let's see, you can also basically write what they are going to return. So get nodes is going to return an array of node. Add node is not going to return anything. So basically mutations or the editing that we do to database doesn't have to return anything, but sometimes what we do is, for the ease of front end, like we have the option to return something, so we return the updated node. So if I'm going to add a node, I'm going to return back that updated node. It's true that the front end is going to have that data already, so they don't need it from the backend because they have just created a node and set to the database that add this new node. But still, for just in case if they need it, so we'll be returning a node, and to delete a node, we will be returning the node ID that okay, this has been deleted. We can also write down if these are going to be queries or what. So this is going to be a query, this is mutation, this is a mutation, perfect. And let's see, this will return wall, and it's a query. So that's all functions we need for our front end to work. And I'm just thinking if there is something else, just give me some time. Okay. No, this is good. We can start coding this out. So another thing that we need is, for each wall we need to have, for each wall we need to have the nodes inside it. Why? Because that is going to be really useful. So if I have a wall, let's get back to this. So other than these two, what we need is a third parameter called nodes. It's going to be an array of node. So why is it good? Because we'll be having the list of all the nodes in that particular wall. We don't have to fetch it separately. Are you familiar with the advantage of GraphQL? I'll help you understand. So let's say I have two bags. Okay, this bag has wall, and I have another bag. Okay, and this bag has nodes. Now if I have to fetch all the walls and their nodes, or if I have to fetch a wall's name and the nodes inside it. So suppose if I go to a wall in my front end and I want the wall's title and the nodes that are inside it. So first I'll go to wall and I'll get the title, right? Then I'll go to nodes and I'll get the nodes of that particular wall. But why can't I get it in just one request? And that's where GraphQL comes in handy. This is basically the main advantage of GraphQL, that you don't have to make two trips to the bags of walls and nodes. Because if I'm going to a wall in our front end, a page of a wall, I need the title and I need the nodes, but I don't want to fetch it separately. I want it in one single request. So that's why we are going to make some changes. In this wall, we are going to return the nodes, and in this node, and in every node, we are going to return the wall. That is going to be of type wall. So it's interconnected, and with GraphQL, we can create a query that, okay, I need this, I need the title of the wall and the nodes of it, and of each node, I want the content and who is it referred to. So I can create a full um, chain of what I need. Similarly, notes, if I want to get the title, if I have a single note in future, I don't see a use case right now, but if I have a single note and I want its walls title, so I don't have to make two requests. I can say whenever I'm fetching a note, fetch its title as well. So it's just one request, and that's going to reduce the time spent in downloading the content from the backend. It's going to reduce the bandwidth usage as well. Okay, let's go ahead and try to implement that. Because of this, we can get rid of two things. One is get nodes, because now we are not going to get all the nodes by wall ID. Instead, we are going to get okay, we can leave this as well, just never mind. We are going to add both of. So my point was that if I'm getting all the nodes of a particular wall from here, I don't need to have another way of getting nodes with a wall. So I can just remove it. Let's just remove it. Right. Okay. Another thing that I forgot is get a single wall with a wall ID. So when I am in a walls page, I would need that walls ID, right? And with that walls ID, I will need to get the title and the nodes that are in that. So this will return me a wall, and that's it. Add node. Let's see. Okay. In fact, we can put this add node inside wall as well, because we are adding a node in the wall. But let's just not complicate it right now. This looks simple and good. Okay. Once you have all this structured, then it makes it very easy for you to get going with the code. So always try to first write down everything, because once you have coded it and then you try to change it, it ruins a lot of stuff, and it also gives me a kind of anxiety when I'm coding without having the architecture, because I always feel that I might have to change it at any point of time. So I don't feel very peaceful when I'm coding without documentation. So let's quickly implement everything we have done, and we'll be able to test the backend with. There's a pretty cool tool by GraphQL that allows you to have a visual demonstration of your database. So we'll look into that as well. So let's get started. Okay, we have the note, db note. We just need to add a wall in this. Okay, it's going to show red because we have not generated the types of the wall, which we'll do in a while, so it'll get better. Talking about mutations, we need add node. This is GraphQL syntax, so you can just add GraphQL #GraphQL, and it will try to add the syntax check on it. Okay, just leave it. When I'm adding a node, I need wall ID that is going to be of type ID. ID is just nothing, it's just a special string. I'll need content of type string, right? And I'll need who is it meant to, which is not going to be required, so I'll just leave it like that. Okay, perfect. What is it going to return? It's going to return a note. That's one mutation that we have done. We are still kind of like modeling. We're not working on the controllers. We are still defining what all controllers we need, so it's not exactly that. Then we have a delete node and the note ID of type ID, and it's going to return boolean to tell us if that node was deleted or not. Or we can just return the ID to ID or null. So it can be an ID, it can be null. So good. We have these two there, and let's go to wall. Let's see. Okay. In wall we need get walls and get wall. So a syntax that we have. Yeah, never mind. So it's just going to be a simple function that is going to return wall, all the walls that we have, and a get wall function that is going to return it with id of type id. So if I give the wall id, it's going to return a single wall. So we have the modeling done. Now let's come to the controllers. So for each mutation that we have defined here, we need to define the similar mutation in the controllers file. So we have this update user, which we don't need right now. We need add node, so I'll create this add node here. It's going to return db node, and we are going to get we are going to, so it's basically what all the second parameter is basically what all functions, what all arguments we are getting. So we are getting wall id, content, and 2. So I'll say wall id of wall id, content, and 2, and we are going to define their types here. Wall id would be of type string, content of type string, 2 of type string, and it's going to be optional. Pretty good. I'm enjoying this. Then we have db note, which is going to be the type of it, and collection dot, we are going to insert one. So how do we insert one? Just going to write insert one, and here we have to define content to college domain. Okay, we are going to change a few things right now. Okay, so instead of having college domain, why don't, when I'm adding a node, wall id. Okay, yes, so college domain is basically going to be the wall id. It's going to be served as the domain. So in GraphQL, we are not going to return the college domain, we are going to return the wall itself. So I'm going to remove college domain, because in that wall itself the id will be the college domain, so we'll have an idea about it. So I'll just go on. In the database we are going to store it as college domain, but you'll see how we are going to how do we call it, how are we going to cook it, so that when we are serving it to the front end, we don't get the college domain, we get the wall, and inside that wall we can get the college domain. So that is going to be more robust. Let's see. Next we need the college domain of type, that's going to be the wall id. Let's change some parameters here. We need to have, instead of college id, let's call it wall id in the backend itself, so that it's better, because we are going to work with the IDs now, and so that's good. What I'm returning here is the problem we are facing right now is that we don't have the access to the full document that is being inserted. So we are just going to return the ID, because anyway we are not going to use it. So whenever we are adding a new node, we are just going to return the ID. So I'm just going to change it to string, and dot to string. Cool. And we are going to change some stuff here as well. It's going to return a string, that is basically an ID. All right, we have add a note in this, and let's similarly add the delete note, which is going to be Control-C, Control-V, delete note. Let's change the name to ID, and I'll say okay, I want to delete ID of type string, and here is the string ID, new node, collection dot delete one. that's it. We are now going to type string is not a so we are just going to create a new object ID with this. And what are we going to return? We are going to return the new node dot acknowledged. So it's going to be the boolean that if it happened or not. So that's it. Just do it as boolean, and in the node we'll just return a boolean that okay if it was deleted or not, and boolean is always going to be there, so we can put an exclamation mark after that. Let's see. We don't need any queries, so we are going to remove everything like this, and with that our nodes controllers are done. We are going to just remove anything that's not required. Model is done, perfect. Wall ID, okay. Cool, now let's go to the wall and let's see what all we need to do there. But before going there, we need to have this type resolver. What it does is, so we see that we have this thing called wall, but we have not defined it. We have not told GraphQL how we are going to get that wall. So we are going to get back to it after we have done the controllers. So how is GraphQL going to know that what wall we have to return with this node? So for that we are going to tell GraphQL to use a particular ID and use that to basically fetch the wall. Let's see, first let's do the wall controllers. So what all controllers we need is walls and get wall and a note here, note of notes, which is going to be of type array of note. Cool. It looks good. In a similar way, we'll have to specifically define the GraphQL how we are going to fetch the nodes, because we don't have access to it. Especially in the database, we are not storing the nodes. So how are we going to do that? We are going to see that. But let's just quickly do the get walls and get wall controllers. So .db wall, the name would be, okay, I think I didn't change the name, right? Yes, here it has to be note. Basically it's telling us what table to use, so we have to change that. And similarly here we have to make it wall, and to find we are going to just return everything. And if we have an ID with, so the name of these would be get walls is going to return everything, and get wall is going to return on the basis of a particular ID, and which is going to be this wall, and we'll get that wall on the basis of that ID. It's going to return a db wall, db wall. That's it, super simple. We can remove this, and fine, yes, db wall looks good, looks really good. We are almost there, and now we have to define the type resolvers for both of them. So I'll just come to type resolver, and I'll say, okay, what type are we going to resolve? That is going to be the wall, and for that wall we need I don't remember, like it was it the first, I think it's the first argument. Parameter is going to be db note. So what's going to happen is, whenever GraphQL is going to see that okay, I need to fetch the wall of a particular node, it's going to go back to this function here. It's going to say, okay, I need to fetch the wall of a node. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to take the parent, which is going to be the node, the database, and I am going to find the wall that has this particular parent in that. So it's going to be a complex query, but let's see how we are going to do that. So constant vol is going to be MongoDB dot collection, that is vol, and I'm going to just say of type db vol dot find one, and we are going to have the filter here, and it's going to be the one which has the ID as vol ID, that is parent dot vol ID. So it's just going to simply return that, and we're going to make an object ID. Object ID is nothing, it's just converting it to some stuff. Let's see. Okay, so that's going to be the node vol, and we can just remove that, can't we? Promise we need to return a vol. So as you can see, if I'm specifying the what I need to return, that's how it's going to understand if I'm returning the correct thing. So since I'm not returning anything, it's showing an error right now. So let's see. Let's just return the node vol. Let's see what the error is. It's saying that with ID. I'm not able to understand what it means with this with ID thing. Let's check here. Oh, okay. We just have to say that it can also be null, and we can remove the redundant part. Just do return directly, and we can remove this. So it's looking good. We have defined the vol resolver. It might be a bit of a bit incorrect in terms of the arguments that I'm passing, because I'm not exactly sure what it used to be, but that we can debug very quickly, so it's not a big deal. Similarly, I'm going to go to the vol and define all the nodes. So I'll just go on say nodes. We'll have parent as db vol, and it's going to return db nodes array. So we are going to find all the nodes, db node, just change it to node, all the nodes that have their vol ID as parent dot ID. It should, I don't know why it's not appending the ID to it. Let's see. Okay, I have to also specify the ID. Yes. Now if I come back, done. Okay, perfect. We have the nodes as well. So everything looks quite good and nice. Okay, I have to change it to object ID. Does it fix it now? Yes, new object ID, and yes. Okay, so it's saying that vol ID is not object ID, so it's just some minus stuff that I'm working on. Okay, all the errors are gone here, but we might see some errors here. Exactly, it's going to be new object ID of vol ID. We are done. Perfect. Everything is done. Okay. Okay. We need to give some environment variables now. I'll just see what all they are. Just create a new file .env. In the README, I have put in all the environment variables that are needed. So I'll just copy this, and in this I'll paste it out. So signing key can be anything. Development is true. The MongoDB URI has to be the local host URI. Backend secret anything. Refresh key anything. HTTP localhost 3001. That's the backend URL port that we are going to use, and for front end it's going to be 3000. Google client ID and client secret, I don't have it right now, but these two, webhook, secret, local, these two are not needed right now, so I can just take them off. These two I might have in one of my older projects. Let me check. Yes, here is the key and everything. Perfect. We have everything set up. Now we are going to just try it out and see how it looks. It's going to have a lot of errors, trust me, because we have not started it even for once. Okay, let's see the backend URL, how it's going on. It should show a 404, I guess, because the actual GraphQL is inside /GraphQL. Yes, it's showing a not found. Now if I go to GraphQL, it's going to show a lot of errors for sure. So the first error is syntax error. Can it show me where exactly it is? Okay, I'll have to do a lot of cleaning. I have forgotten a lot of things, I believe. So first of all, let's see, we have everything here. The problem is I'm not able to identify the exact place where we have this error. Get wall is not inside the controller. Okay, it's there. It's not in schema. It says get wall. Oh, okay. We have accidentally put it in mutation. We have to put it in query because it's a query. Let's see now what's done. There we are. It's pretty cool. We are here. It's great. One query that we have forgotten to add is add note. Sorry, get note. But we are going to do that. We can remove the user now. We don't need that because it was just for getting the boilerplate code, and this is done. Okay, we have everything. We just need a query to add a wall, so I'll just quickly do that. So it's going to be a mutation that's going to add a wall, and we just need the college domain of that, which is going to be a string, and it's going to return the added wall ID. So it's going to be an ID, and we just need to, we can just copy paste the add node mutation. It's almost same. Add wall. We just have the college domain. Yes, almost there. Wall. DB wall. Just a college domain. it's saying that I need to provide the ID as well. So which I shouldn't. So it's basically I shouldn't be adding this, but it's going to give some more errors like this. Parent doesn't have the ID. I guess it should be like with ID if I use this. Yeah, okay. That's the correct way, and we are adding the wall, and let's name it new wall. College domain we have added. Let's refresh it and let's have a look at it now. So we have okay, so this is basically the GraphQL playground. Let me see if there is anyone right now. No one. It's okay. So we are in the GraphQL playground, which is very interesting. We have queries and mutations. Let's see what all queries we have. We have getWall and getWalls. Why don't we have any queries for nodes? Yeah, we don't have it. And we have some mutations. Add node, add wall, and delete node. Let's try to create. Let's try to add a wall and see if it works. So let's see what we have to do. I'm just going to click here. So it creates the query for me. This is what a GraphQL query looks like, and I'll have to write the college domain. Let's go with my domain, that is IITL.ac.in, and I'm going to run it. And it returns the object ID. That means that the wall was successfully added. So now if I go back, go to queries and go to get walls, and I say okay for each. Okay, we also need name. Leave it. Okay, so if I say okay, get me all the walls and their college domains, so it's returning it fine, so that's also working. Let's see if it's returning me the nodes, which it should not. So yeah, nodes are empty because there is no node in that particular wall right now. And cool. Let's get this wall's ID. I'm going to directly code it out. Are we not? Okay, we are not. We need to give the ID as well, so I'm just going to do it as underscore ID of type ID. Yes, I'll refresh it. Yes. So let's see. So I have this ID now. If I need to get a particular wall, I can just go on to this particular wall and I can say that my ID is this. Give me that wall and it's college domain. It's just overcomplicating it. I'll just write it down. Perfect. So get wall and get walls, the two queries that we needed, are working. Now let's try to add a node. Another interesting thing, and this is the node that we are going to add. It needs the wall ID, that is going to be this, and it needs the content. Hello, I like myself. And if it returns the ID, that means it got successfully executed. Perfect, we have the ID. And let's add another content to it. Let's say hey, and let's see, we have another ID inserted. Now if I fetch all the walls and the nodes in them and the content we have inside that, we are getting everything on the right hand side. If you're seeing that we have the content, all the nodes and its content. We can also fetch like created at when we are not getting created at. So that's a good bug to fix. Let's see, we can do a loop of queries, so I can get the walls, get the nodes, get their wall and get their nodes. So I got that particular wall, I got that node, and I got its college domain. So it's a chain. So all these walls, to better understand the chain, I can write the college domain here. So you can see we're getting college domain, we're getting nodes, we are getting the content inside the nodes, we are getting the wall that we have of that particular college, of that particular node, and then the college domain inside that. We can just keep on going one after another. So that's the beauty of GraphQL. You can fetch whatever you want, as much as you want. We'll look into why created at was not working, but before that, let me get the nodes again and let me try to delete a particular node. No. So I have these nodes. the ID. Yes, I'll just copy this ID and I'll go to the delete node mutation, and we'll check it out if it's working. So delete node ID is going to be this, and okay, no, and it returns true, so that means it was deleted. Now if I go to query and I say okay, get all the walls and their nodes and their content, so it should show only one node. So everything is working fine. We just have to see why created at is not working. Cannot return null. Okay, for that we need to investigate if the created at is actually being created or not. I remember there was something that we have to change, but let's see here. This is our database, and inside default we have node and wall. So let's see, this is the node and it doesn't have created at. So why does it not have created at? There was a setting that I have to enable so that MongoDB automatically enables created at. We can do a quick Google search. I have to add timestamps. It should be something here. Auth db bypass comment. Okay, never mind. So I think it's not going to store it automatically. We'll define it ourselves, which is going to be pretty simple. So it's just going to be not this. It's going to be the note that is going to have it. It's going to be created at of type string. Every node is going to have it, and it's also going to return it. While I'm adding it, I just have to say created at is equals to new date dot to ISO string. That should work. First I'll just delete the node that I've created already. I'll just quickly get the I'll just get the walls and the IDs of the nodes. I'll just delete this node, delete node ID, and I'll just run it. It got deleted. If I try to delete it again, it's still saying true. That is quite weird, because why it's saying true is it's saying that okay, it does not exist, so that means it's deleted. So even if it did not exist earlier, the answer to if it was deleted or not is still true. A better solution would be if it comes out as false, but it's okay. Now let's try to see the nodes. Let's try to add a node, and we did add a note here, so I'll just add a note and I'll say okay, the content is there, and I'll say hey to, and we have these. Now if I try to get the created at, so now I'm getting the created at as well. Now so the backend seems quite done. We are almost done with everything. We can also run a thing called maybe or maybe not. Okay, leave it. So yeah, so we are done with the backend. This is the GraphQL. We can push this much code um, to like backend stage 1, backend stage, and I'll just commit and push it. We have 3 errors which you can see here. These are basically GraphQL nodes. I'll have to generate the GraphQL types, which we can do later on. It's not a big deal, so I'm just going to push it anyway. So as you can see, we have completed the backend and we are talking to the database as much as we want. It was a pretty quick process because of the starter that I had. It really makes my life easier. Now we just need to focus on the front end, and hello Atik, how are you? So yeah, so the backend is done. We have GraphQL ready. We can basically fetch everything we want, and there are a few things that we have to still think about since we are building this. I it's not a tutorial. I'm building it alongside with you guys, so I don't have answers to everything. I'm also brainstorming right now. So one important thing that we need to think about is how are we going to limit the rate at which people post notes, because it's going to create a problem, because we are not storing the details of the user. So in every note we know when that note was created, but we don't know who created it, and if we are not storing who created it, then we cannot ensure that the same guy doesn't create it again. So that's a problem. So the solution to this would be in later on, in future, what we are going to do is we are going to store the user details, but we are going to only store a particular ID that is associated to them, though that is going to really make it very unsafe for them. They are not going to have trust, and they are going to feel like we might be spying on them, and if they post a really nasty confession, that might get revealed. Because other than that, we don't have a way to limit people to not post more than one note in 3 days or something like that. We can definitely use the local system to store some data in the local system, but again, I have a solution to that. We can we'll work on that. It involves basically giving a token to the user when they are logging in, that okay, you can use this token to add a note, and once they have used that token, we are not going to allow them to create more tokens or something like that. So let's see how it goes, because even in that case of token, will have to store their details. So we have to decide if we want to go 100% anonymous, or if we want to limit their rate at which they post notes. We can also remove the rate thing. We don't want to limit anyone. They can post as many notes as they want. And why I'm saying this, because that is going to give a more authentic feeling to a wall. Because if there is a wall in your college where you can post sticky notes, you might go on and post as many as you want. So that is the thing. So we are not going to work on that unless unless people actually start using it and the need for it comes. We are not going to do that. But the backend is done. I'm really glad, and now we will just have to create the front end of it, which is going to be pretty simple and pretty amazing. We're going to enjoy that. We'll also create an admin panel wherein we can see all the new walls that are coming, and we can manually define their college names. Let's see if there's an API that can give us the college name from email. Okay, we have this. Let's see if it has Indian. No, it doesn't have Indian emails. What I'm trying to do is, if somebody comes in with, say, I want to create a wall for IIT Bombay, so their email is going to be iitb.ac.in, something like that. So we as a website, we don't know what is the name of the college IITB, and we cannot give this power to that particular user because people like to troll a lot. So that's why we have to think of something else. I don't think there's an API that is going to give us the name of the college with the help of the email address. So there is nothing we can do about it. But that's why I was thinking that we can have an admin panel wherein we will see that, okay, a new wall has come in which does not have its name, so we are going to write the name for it. I don't think there is going to be many colleges. To be very honest, this project is not going anywhere. It's all about just time pass hobby, daily taking out 1 hour to just practice your skills, to maybe learn something new, to maybe talk and have fun. So this project is not going too far. I don't feel like that, but maybe it does. So if it does, then we are going to think about what we need to do, what needs to be done. So I have some errors that are not allowing me to push it. Let's see what the error is. This is the error. These are all the errors. I don't know why they're coming in, but this is not a big deal. We are going to deal with it. So this is the problem. Okay. The problem is that we deleted the DB user, and the authentication system that I had was based on DB user, so we'll need the DB user. So I'm just going to roll back the whole user folder, and yes, so the errors are not there. That's because when we are authenticating someone, we need to store their details, even if we are doing it with Google. So we'll store their details. We are just going to store their ID. We're not going to ask them for their name or anything. We might store their emails, or maybe not, or maybe we'll have to store their emails, but we're not going to store. So we are going to store what all users are using this website, but we are not going to store what note, who is putting what note. But there is no way to assure that to that person. They don't know. Maybe we might be storing because it's all in our control. So we cannot. It's going to take time to build the trust of people. Let me add the user field as well here. So if you want to see what all user has, we need the index as well of user. I'll just copy this. So yeah, tomorrow we are going to work on the front-end integration and a bit of like just downloading everything. Then day after tomorrow we are going to wrap up the front-end UI and going to deploy it. So it's not going to take a long time. As you can see, it's pretty simple. Once you have done it, it's pretty simple to build as much applications as you want if you have experience. So that is something. I don't like this error. it's basically asking me that a sync is not needed, so I just have to put await somewhere. But it's saying that okay, anyway, I'm just going to ignore this. You can just ignore any TypeScript error by adding this. And then there is another error that is saying that you cannot put comments, so I'll just have to, it's quite frustrating sometimes. Anyways, I'm just going to remove the sync, and the error we have here, I'm just going to say context as any. I'm just going to say any is not required. I'll look into that, whatever it is. I'll have to change some ESLint settings, which will be found here. So I'll fix that till tomorrow, and that's it for today. Thank you very much, and it was fun. Bye bye.